Yeah, they got it now. This is the worst ever. I might as well
Actually,
just...
I really appreciate, John, that you took the opportunity to, on my very first time being on your show, providing me the full painting with MenothJohn technical experience. It really warms my heart to know that you've gone to this full extent.
You know, I'm just going to sit back at this point. This show's screwed already. You know, I had high hopes for this show. I really did. So we really looked like we were like turning the corner and stuff on Painting with MenothJohn. You know, we've got the Patreon going on. You know, look down below here. This is what you're paying for, folks. All this high-level technical expertise right down here. Patreon.com/MenothJohn. And I am absolutely piling in tonight. So I'm seeing... You know, this is what happens, John, when I don't, like, spend a fair amount of time ahead of the show just making sure, like, dials are gauging and gaugings are dialing and things like that. Instead, I was trying to prepare for the contest winner announcement, which I'm sure that will just absolutely drag through the mud. So it'll be just amazing. So for those of you who...
Well, that's what they expect from us. We've been letting them down for too long. We had to bring it up a notch back to our standard.
Absolutely. Painting with MenothJohn letting you down for almost 2.5 years. Speaking of Patreon, we're abandoning most of everything at this point. In case you didn't know, in case you couldn't hear before, we've got Dow Dark, Kevin Bashford, and we have Sheridan Plunkett, Solus from Advanced Maneuvers. They're here on the show tonight, watching me pee all over myself via audio and video. Speaking of peeing on yourself, what's your beverage update for tonight, John?
Well, I've got the standard.
Got the standard? Cool. What about you, Dow? What do you got?
I made myself a Long Island.
Nice. Oh. Wow, that like took effort and expertise and all that kind of crap. See,
if I'm going to show up on Painting with MenothJohn, I gotta have a drink.
Kevin, you see you're mistaken here because it's all about production values here. I mean, you know, clearly Tin Man XL invented production values. We try to follow in his footsteps, and that Long Island iced tea represents a little too much production value. However, it is good for your channel. So there you go. And what about you, Solus? What do you got?
I am very boring again, and I just have a Dr. Pepper.
Oh, that's really sad.
Yeah.
We're not. We support people who don't drink, just not as much. And so we're gonna double fist this one here tonight, and that's not a euphemism. We're going to start off with a salute to our latest patron. We mentioned it on the last show when I tried to kill myself, saluting all the patrons one at a time with a shot of beer. I only have one new patron, but I'm willing to welcome more. So, you know, down below here. Anyway, so this one goes out to, oddly enough, Kevin Bashford, our latest patron supporter. So, hey, Ron.
Ron.
Kevin, I have to say that you're smooth and very sweet to the lips. So, I'm enjoying this very much. Tasty. So it's been quite a week here in MenothJohn land. Found out this week I'm going to have surgery, John.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah, we talked about that in the coveted pre-ramble segment.
Well, plus the interwebs.
Yes. Funny thing, I haven't been on Facebook now for like 3 days because I've just decided I'm not going to be on Facebook anymore. I almost ended up in an internet flame war with somebody else on Twitter, and I just decided, that's not good for my attitude. So I'm just like going to our Painting with MenothJohn Facebook page.
I will say, in your defense, you weren't too far off base. YouTube just didn't connect the right way on that one. I saw a little bit of the fallout and looked, and
we're cool now.
I was kind of with you. So
we're cool now. It's all good. But
good.
Long story short, I just decided that I was seeing like effects in my daily life of some of the stuff that I was reacting to, and I was maybe becoming a little less positive and a little more shrill than I wanted to be. And so I decided, I'm gonna say no to that. I'm gonna shun it. I'm gonna show it the hand, right there, right on camera. I'm showing it the hand, and so I just stepped away for a little bit. So one of the things we're not going to step away from here on Painting with MenothJohn is our commitment to our sponsors. John, We had a lot of positive feedback on that last one. Except in the Menite community for some reason. And,
oh Lord!
And so the Menite community has really taken some bold stances against our last spokesmodel. So I decided that in the interest of sustained positive relationships with the Protectorate of Menoth, that we would have a representative to provide a counterpoint to last week's spokesmodel. Here she is, all the way from the deserts of Western Imran. We have with us Flamebringer A. I want to talk to you people about something I saw last. First off, my name's Harriet. It's not Flamebringer A. Just because you don't know what the F my name is, and you just paint an A on the back of my base, doesn't mean that I'm not a person. I'm very, very disturbed with this French lady, or Laylis, or whatever the hell she is, that you had on this show last week talking about Discount Games Incorporated. Now let me tell you, folks, if you don't get to Discount Games Incorporated and order Flamebringers, you're an idiot. I'm just going to tell you that right now. I don't care what this French lady has to say, or whatever she is. I don't know what the accent was that Menoth she was doing. But I can tell you this with great certainty. She isn't worth the metal she's made out of. What you want are some Flamebringers like me, Harriet, not Flamebringer A. Let me talk to you. I'll talk to you later about this one, MenothJohn. Anyway, so I suggest you get over to Discount Games Incorporated, where you can get me for free shipping, because I'm pretty sure I'm less than $50, or slightly more than $50. If you get less than $50, you don't get the free shipping, and you're an idiot. You should just buy a few bit more, and I don't know, like a Gator Croc, Witch Duck, something or other, or maybe you should get one of those sorcerers for trolls. What do you mean, sorcerers for trolls? We are very good. We are very large, but we are very good for only 1 point. Get out of here! This is my segment. Okay, so basically, $50 gets you the free shipping at Discount Games Incorporated, or if you want some terrain, you can get it from Canada, I guess. Greenleaf Terrain makes some beautiful terrain. It's not an American or a protectorate person or anything like that, but his shit is totally legit. I tell you, he's legit. I go to Canada sometimes, just, because it makes me feel dirty. Anyway, so I highly suggest that if you need terrain to make your table suck less, go to Greenleaf Terrain and talk to Adam. Or if you want to buy more Flamebringers, not pseudo-French, pistol, blade chicks, whatever she is, then you should go there. So, back to the Painting with MenothJohn show. Ah! Well, thank you, Harriet. I wasn't aware that your name was Harriet. I'm sorry. I mean, it's like not like it came with any kind of label or anything like that. So I just had to demark the leader of it. So I agree with your message, though. Discount Games Incorporated or Awesome Terrain at Greenleaf Terrain. You can't buy sponsorship like that, folks. You really can't.
No.
And we did have a cameo there by a Trollkin Sorcerer. So we'll see how that develops over the coming weeks and months.
So Chili says that if you create a separate channel called Warmachine Puppet Time for just this stuff, he will support it.
Oh, I didn't bother or manage to get the chat room open for Twitch. I probably should have. That stuff is sometimes there's some good stuff that comes out of that chat room. Actually,
absolutely.
You know what? Warmachine Puppet Time is kind of a concept.
Oh my God. I see you going down that Homestar Runner thing where he went to the puppets for a little bit and then unfortunately faded away. We don't want to fade away.
I'm totally cool with killing other shows. I mean, the mothership is not going to go away. Painting with MenothJohn gives me a reason to look forward to Sunday nights. But Puppet Time, Brunch Machine went away. Puppet Time could take its place. Maybe you should show your support.
One
maybe you should.
what's her name from Game of Thrones.
Maybe there you go. Maybe Daenerys Targaryen, my spirit animal. Maybe if I see a few more of these down here at Patreon.com, we can get Puppet Time off the ground.
Oh,
anyway.
God.
This
is how it starts.
I see horrible Warmachine / fiction in the form of sort of something along the lines of the dinosaurs on Firefly.
Okay,
Damn,
that's
you're
slightly better than my mind went. So
well, I'm just saying, holding two plastic animals up and letting them battle out. There you go. So welcome to Painting with MenothJohn, where we used to paint.
You used to paint. I honestly don't usually paint, except on the all-day one. I painted on that.
Yep, and we're probably going to do something for Child's Play coming up here. We've got the Painting Day, the International Painting Day of Love from Games and Gears. I think that's what it's officially called, the International Painting Day of Love. That's coming up. Support it. We'll do something on that, I think.
Yeah, it's a bad day for us to do an all-day cast because I've got to run our local championship, and it's also lock and load the same weekend, so it's not falling on a good day.
Well, maybe we'll just do something at a different time. We'll figure something out. We'll do something in commemoration of it. So
absolutely
cool. Another thing to keep in mind, Brushheads, we have a very big our once a quarter Brushhead gallery is coming up. That will be next week. We have guests.
Yep.
We have Mr. Chris Sure from Sura. Kevin, do you know how to pronounce his name?
I think it's Sura.
Sura. We're going to go with Sura. He's a dentist. So I think if I get it wrong enough times, he'll probably slip me the roofie at Warmachine Weekend and remove all my teeth. So so he's an amazing and totally legitimate painter, and he will be on the show next week for our Brushhead Gallery. So it'll be super amazing. Amazing how that worked out. It's almost like it was planned.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't.
Yeah, like you planned it that way. Impressive.
Not even remotely.
I mean, if he, as a dentist, if he really wanted to torment you, couldn't he just completely numb your mouth and then give you a free bottle of Kraken and go ahead, drink it?
I can't tell you how much I love you, Christopher. Sounded remotely like Nixon there for a second. That was pretty sweet.
Well, a little Nixon-ish, yeah.
Yeah, there was Bill Cosby, when he wasn't doing horrible bad things, allegedly, did a very funny bit about going to the dentist and about getting your mouth numbed, and it was pretty amazing. I'd like to recommend it, but it's sort of like we're not going to play the Nazi card, but he's not allegedly not a very good person, so we're not going to recommend it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so hey. We had a contest.
Hey,
but
we did.
Before we get there, though, I would like to give Kevin and Sheridan a chance to plug what's new and amazing on Advanced Maneuvers.
Oh, I appreciate that. So Advanced Maneuvers is doing their, we're sticking to the weekly battle reports that we always do. And it's just that, that's going to always be something that we produce on it, but we're starting to look at additional content. We had just recently had a subscriber appreciation contest for some widgets and templates, and then we also have released our first episode of Turn Extension, which is a vidcast, podcast-esque venue that we're going to try and give a chance to basically do monthly just verbal talking with each other over the games that we played during the month. So it's 4 games for every podcast, and just going over, how we would have changed our list or what we would have done differently or anything like that. And of course, whenever you get wargamers together and they're talking about their games, there's going to be banter back and forth, and I guarantee you it will happen every single time.
Oh, I watched the first episode and I really enjoyed it because it was like 5-6 people kind of sitting in a pub talking about games that they had, and then of course it's got all the brilliant production value that Advanced Maneuvers brings to the table. And so I really highly recommend it to folks who are out there. Check it out. You got it on your YouTubes. And is it at the normal place for Advanced Maneuvers on the YouTubes?
Yep.
Yeah, it's on our channel.
Cool.
Yeah, I think we're also going to look into some way of releasing it as an actual MP3. So that was a request from one of the viewers.
Cool.
Oh, cool.
If you guys are interested, I'll be more than happy to walk you through how to do that. It's stupid easy, and it's like one piece of software away from changing it from. So, although you guys are way better than I am at this crap, so I'm sure you've already got it figured out how to do it. So, I'm talking like I have some level of expertise. Please.
Oh no! We are, the world of podcasts is completely foreign to us, and you're the podfather, so we would appreciate any help you can provide.
See, that makes me feel good inside. See, stroking the podfather's ego is +1 to awesome, because Lord knows I need it. I mean, nobody's ego needs more stroking than this one's right here, because it burns like jet fuel. All right, that's super sweet. Let's get on to let's get to our contest. Very exciting, John.
Yeah, absolutely. We spent some time Thursday going through all the entries and just talking them out and seeing which one we liked best. And shock of shocks, we actually liked 2 the best.
Yeah, we really couldn't make up our minds. As we were talking through it, we developed this completely arbitrary 10-point scale. That was based mostly on whimsy and basically how bad our day was that day, and we're completely not transparent. One might say opaque about our choices. We don't feel like we really need to justify our choices other than we like these, and so we decided to give out, and to be honest and truly forthright, because of the support from the patrons, we felt like. This is something we can afford to do 2 of. So there was a lot of really great effort and a lot of good. I'm trying to count here. I got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 entries, I believe it was. And let's talk about the first one here. I'm going to try and get my technology to pull my head out of my butt here, and I'm going to switch over here to now. The screen's going to go black for a second, folks. Do not lose your shit. It's just me flipping over to a different setting. So here we're going to do this, and then we're going to do that, and then now you should not be black anymore. So literally ought to be about 2 or 3 seconds of nothing on your screen. Now, for most Americans these days, and for some parts of developed Europe, 2 seconds of not having something on the screen can cause riots. Do you think, guys, that we have caused a riot yet?
Nah, I think we're good.
That's good. We don't want to cause riots. We're about positivity here on Painting with MenothJohn. And the first one here, congratulations, Brian Sin, Mr. Malorian, you may know him as, for our first of 2 contest winners. It's called Love Machine. Now, it's he sent us 2 different variations of Love Machine, and the one that we liked the best was Valentine's Day. So now,
yep.
I don't even know what's going through your head right now out there, Brushheads, to something called Love Machine. But it's really quite innocent and quite romantic. Perhaps the most romantic of all War Machine scenarios. And I'm going to share it with you as soon as I figure out how to get to the next one. There we go. All right, so here you go. And I'm going to talk slowly and stay on this slide for a little while. And, John, do you have the stream up right now?
I do.
Okay. Is the map actually up?
Negative.
Okay. Well, it'll get there eventually.
It is now.
Okay.
It is now.
This is the map, and it's a standard 4x4 table. And basically what this is, and okay, so I had some difficulty when I was writing this thing up because I want to be inclusive, and I realized that being inclusive is about basically recognizing that there are different versions of marriage today than maybe there were considered mainstream in the past. And I want to make sure that we're inclusive and that we're thinking about that. So I changed some of the wording around a little bit on this. Originally, it was written as a male caster and a female caster. I've expanded it a little bit to be, it can be 2 males or 2 females or male and female. John, you're saying something?
No, you're good.
Okay. And basically, so you've got 2 casters, and they can come from different factions. So one of the things we liked about this particular scenario was the fact that it brings in some of those wacky interactions that Privateer, frankly, never intended to happen, but really result in some of our favorite team tournaments. But what Malorian did on this one was he said at least 20 points had to come from each faction, so that you don't end up just like he cited an example of someone who brought like Krios and a Reckoner. And that was like all they brought from Protectorate. And as someone who calls himself MenothJohn, I'm against that. So he says at least 20 points from each faction. But what you do during your list creation, and this is a one list kind of a thing, is you designate one caster as the shopper, and one is designated as the lover. So everybody with me so far? Making sense?
Yep.
Two casters. I didn't specify it on here. I should have. It's a 50-point list, 20 points from each faction. Now, the rules. You win by assassination if either caster is killed. In other words, they're so in love that they can't stand to live without each other. It's a little bit of a Romeo and Juliet kind of a thing, which a little tip of the hat to the classics, I'm all in. So you need to have 2 control points to win. How do you get control points? You have to, the shopper has to dominate either the chocolate shop or the flower shop. And you can only score once at the chocolate shop, and you can only score once at the flower shop. So you can't just sit on the flags. Okay, this is a difficult scenario to necessarily win by scenario. If the shopper and the lover, which if you remember are your 2 casters, get within 12 inches of each other, because we've all faced this dilemma, folks. You're out there, you want to get a Valentine's gift for your loved one. You don't want them around, right? You want to be able to keep that stuff secret because you don't want them to know that it's 10 minutes before midnight on the day before Valentine's Day, or even better, 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Valentine's Day, and you're about to go home without any of the goods, because basically you're going to be surfing the couch that night. And if they get within 12 inches of each other, you lose all your control points. And it turns out the control points are the tiebreaker. So we thought this was, first of all, thematic as hell. And we thought that one of the things that we really loved about it was that if you took this into a shop and you wanted to play it up as this themey thing, to do this as a Valentine's Day kind of an event would be amazing. John, your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. I just I loved it. I thought it was good for an event like Valentine's Day, or just casual fun.
Exactly. It was. I really, really liked the thought that went into this. It had been play tested a little bit, so it obviously had caught on very well with the local meta there. They really enjoyed it. So this is one I think that you should think about as people who are in your communities, and you want to run something a little bit different for a holiday that, quite frankly, in the Warmachine community doesn't get a lot of lip service because we're all undateable nerds, or were at one time.
Yes.
So I would say this is one to think. And Kevin and Sheridan, I'd love to get your opinions on this one.
Honestly, I'm looking at that if they get within 12 inches of each other, they lose all their control points. I think that rule is brilliant because it kind of puts that situation where you're playing the game and your position is, I mean, you've got to be on top of your caster's position at any point in time, because one wrong move in your movement of one caster could completely screw you out of winning, a turn where you're shifting to get that second point. I think that rule is brilliant to me.
Especially the word ever. Ever.
Yes.
So even during the course of a charge, if you happen to cross across that 12-inch, boom shakalaka. So it really puts a lot of interesting constrictions on there. So any other comments on this one?
I like the fact that you can have 2 casters from different factions. Which is kind of interesting. You don't really see that a lot with Ever.
Yeah, I agree. The team tournament at Adepticon is famous for this particular type of scenario. The team tournament has always been a basically unlikely allies kind of a thing, and this is another one of those. Anytime you get a chance to explore some of those really crazy combinations, it can really be good. Cool.
Absolutely.
John, anything else, or any of the other guys, anything else on this one?
Well, before we go on, Mr. Malern, make sure you contact us by email or jump on Facebook and give us a message, and we'll work out what caster you want and how to get it to you.
Absolutely. Prefer, Mr. Malorian, if you would contact us via email, however, just because I'm trying to quit the Facebooks. Please do.
I'm not.
Okay. Get a hold of John Spencer then if you want to do that via
Or
Facebook.
Painting with MenothJohn, because I can get it there too.
Yeah, exactly. Or email at pwmenothjohn@gmail.com. If you have our email, what the hell? You submitted this via effing email. Anyway, so
Indeed.
damn, I'm brilliant. It's Jesus. All right, so the next one. So that was winner number 1. I thought it was quite inspired. Let's move on to the next one. Oh my God! Look at this one. It's Pet Cemetery by Dowdark of Advanced Maneuvers.
And to be honest, that was totally on the level. We talked about it, and it was just one of the best.
Yeah, it really was.
Just because you're on.
Is this where the riot starts?
No,
maybe.
I don't give a damn about the riot. This is a great scenario.
It is.
Bring the riot. My boxer dog will protect me. She's in.
Honestly, if it wasn't for the multiple casters from different factions in the last one, yours probably would have come out just on top, undisputed.
Yep. So let's talk about this. It's called Pet Cemetery because that was the best of Stephen King's works. So, okay, now, Kevin, I love you. I really do. And this was the most confusing-ass written thing in history. I had to read it about 50 times in order to figure out how the hell this is supposed to work. But I think I've got it right. And then somehow I effed it up on this slide. The Pet Cemetery is in the middle, right, Kevin?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So I'll fix this for the PDF for the Brushheads. By the way, all these scenarios, plus all the ones that were submitted but maybe didn't make the cut because they were all good. They were all really good. They're all going to be put into a packet and turned into a PDF, and then you'll be able to use these as scenarios that you want to run as hardcore casual in your local stores. But, okay, so I'll fix this. The Pet Cemetery is in the middle, and it is a mangled metal tooth and claw, which is always good for a casual scenario because it keeps the size of things down to, and you can play it at 25, you can play it at 35. Kevin, correct me if I'm wrong. That was your intention, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Have you noticed a point level that has been optimal for this one?
Probably the 35, just because there's a lot of players out there who want to have a specific faction, and they're really wanting to play with a 10-point or 12-point beast, maybe one of their characters or something like that, and those beasts usually bite up a huge amount of point value. So you want to have multiple beasts in play in order to get the full advantage of trying to get the Pet Cemetery scenario in effect, and not have like one beast and then quickly lose the game because of it.
Right, and one of the things I want to stress on this that I really like about it is this next one. Of course, it's mangled metal tooth and claw, so you don't have any solos, troops, or battle engines. But in general, I would prefer scenarios that do not that prevent people from taking their favorite toys. But in this case, I think it's great that there's this rule about not having colossals or gargantuans, because and this will become more apparent later on as we talk about the rules are. But this one, you need to be able to have out of action movement. You have to be able to throw things. You have to be able to slam things. And because of the rules of colossals and gargantuans, that's just not possible. So I think that's a great rule that you came up with on that one, Kevin.
Yeah, I mean that was one of the things when it first got written down. I actually left colossals and gargantuans in, and then did one dry run of that and went, nope, this doesn't work.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, the scenario in general will not work if those guys are in there. So now let's move on to the rules. Okay, so as far as deployment is concerned, you have your normal SR roll off at the beginning. So you've got a 7 and 10, and then you've got your 6-inch AD outside of that. So, in this particular thing, you've got your normal terrain and all that kind of good, happy stuff that you normally would have. But then you've also got the normal SR deployment. Now I'm gonna screw this up, Kevin. So save me when I do. if a war beast or warjack is boxed or destroyed and is completely outside of the pet cemetery. Now keep in mind, folks, I suck and I'm stupid. The pet cemetery is the dark green part in the middle that you're seeing, not the light green part that I put 4 labels on. And I will fix this in the damn packet, okay? But if you're not a patron, and you should be, you'll get this all corrected. So if a war beast or warjock is boxed or destroyed and is completely outside the pet cemetery at the end of the turn, it is removed from the game. Is that a correct statement?
That is correct.
Okay. So I got my text right. That's good. If a war beast or warjack is boxed inside the pet cemetery, which is the dark green part, not the light green part that's actually effing labeled, it gains the Risen title. Now, this is not the crappy Risen that hang out with Alexia. This is something special that we'll talk about on the next slide. And it heals 1 box to each spiral or system. So in the case of a War Beast, it gets 3 boxes back. In the case of a Warjack, it depends on how many systems they have. But they get 1 per system. And a player can measure for the cemetery at any time, just like a normal kill box. Everybody cool so far?
Yep, though I do want to point out this scenario probably shouldn't allow Tiberian either, since he can't be thrown or slammed or any of that junk.
See, I never played Scorn.
It occurred to me because people locally love some Tivers, and he's pretty cool aside from that.
Actually, yeah, you have to do that because otherwise it breaks the scenario completely.
The easy way to do it is say you can't have Colossals or Gargantuans or anything with a movable object, which is his rule.
Cool. We will fix that in the text for the patrons. And those of you who are watching this on YouTube, sorry. Or are watching along right now, sorry. Anyway, so let's move on to the next slide, which I get actually correct. Okay, this slide is actually correct. Risen War Beasts may only use Fury to boost hit, boost damage, perform a power attack, or any special abilities that require Fury to pull off. So in other words, you can't buy extra attacks. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Risen Warjacks are just exactly the same thing. Boost to hit, boost damage, power attacks, special abilities triggered by focus, but no extra attacks. So you're not as cool as you used to be, but you're still pretty cool, and you're in the pet cemetery, which means you can still do power attack throws. Essentially, this is Luchador the scenario.
So, actually, Legionnaires on the chat room says that a better idea would be to say when an immovable object and a model with an immovable object gains the Risen title, he loses a immovable object.
Ooh, love it. Love it, because it lets you bring your toys.
Yep.
Legionnaire, you will get nothing for that suggestion, but my applause right now. But that was an amazing idea, so we will do that. We'll write that into the Legionnaire. If you would like to become a patron, you can become a patron. Then you'll get the corrected version that will have your rule in it, which you'll see in a PDF document. And seeing something you did in a PDF document is amazing. The victory condition is a player without a beast or jack in the pet cemetery at the end of a turn, or assassination. So super cool. Now tell me a little bit about this victory condition, because I'm a little concerned about the assassination. I would love to see this just turn into toss the jack for as long as it takes to stop tossing jacks.
Well, it was one of those scenarios where, I mean, yeah, we wanted to have a casual scenario, but at the same time, we didn't want to have a casual scenario that lasted for 4 hours.
Fair enough.
You know, these are something where you want to get into the shop and you want to be able to play the game. And the actual design behind it, or where the idea came from, oddly enough, I was watching the movie Pet Sematary. I make bad decisions in life. And while I was watching it, you know, I was thinking about the casual scenario, and I was like, I want to come up with a casual scenario that teaches while playing it. So it was a situation where, you know, one of the things that players, when they're new to the game, hardly ever get any exposure to is all of the power attacks, slams, throws, two-handed, one-handed, and so on. So I wanted to write it where the win condition required those interactions within the game. But then I still wanted to provide an out for a player who, maybe started the game with 3 war beasts and then lost 2, only has 1 left, and has 3 other things that they need to get out of the zone. They're gonna have a hard time trying to use that 1 war beast to slam or throw his opponent if their opponent still has their 2 or 3 and win the game. So I wanted assassination to still be an out for them to potentially pull up the win. That, and it's, if we're teaching while we're playing, it's a scenario where we want to make sure that new players are aware assassination is still a victory condition.
That makes total sense. I think that makes a ton of sense. Congratulations, both to you, Kevin, and also to Mr. Malorian. Really appreciate the suggestions. These are fantastic scenarios. I've just joined a new gaming group in Kenosha, and I'm not sure how my focus here on the camera could possibly be any worse. So I'm going to try and fix that right now, and see if I can't make this, because I know that's really important right now to what we're talking about. Oh, that's even worse. Oh, this is terrible. Okay, anyway, so we'll just save that and just stop talking about it. But I've got a new game group that is, they've only been playing the game for like a month. So it's amazing. Oh, wow. It's going to be great to work with these guys and kind of show them some of the fun stuff that can be done with this game. And thank you so much for providing these scenarios that I know I'm going to want to run when I'm down at the store teaching new stuff. And just fantastic. So get to your, also, Kevin, get your selection for which caster you would like, and send probably best John, since we're going to be getting it from Drop Zone Games, as far as the provider of all this love, and get it to him, and we will provide you with that model. So I'm really excited to see an advanced maneuvers treatment of these particular scenarios. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, and that was one of the things that I mean, in retrospect, with Drop Zone Gabe providing the the support for this, and with John being on the cast, we talked about it, advanced maneuvers, and we really want to take the opportunity, if you don't mind, of running with some of these scenarios. Our first one that we're going to tackle will be we'll probably do the Lover's Valentine scenario. And honestly, I'd love to see when the packet does come out, who knows, maybe we'll run the other ones too, do some one-offs and get some of those hardcore casual scenarios out there. Because I can't agree with you anymore that there's a lot of people out there and a lot of casts and stuff that are doing all of these tournament coverages and, these hardcore or these competitive lists, and advanced maneuvers is no different. We try and cover as many of the potential lists out there while we're going through all the different casters. But I think that it would be a great advantage to the community to start getting some of these hardcore casual scenarios out there. So, we'd love to run the winners. We'll go up to Drop Zone, where this was supported by, so that way we can get some Drop Zone love. We'll get John on the battle report, so we can get John onto advanced maneuvers and do a little painting with MenothJohn / advanced maneuvers co-op.
Maybe this time I'll last more than 2 turns.
Well, last time I was on advanced maneuvers, I didn't last a whole lot longer. I got taken out behind a woodshed and shown what cricks can actually do. So, and then I got criticized that I was too salty. Whatever.
I just went all in, and because I had a really good opponent and figured, what the heck.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. We really look at you guys as a sister show and a sister podcast. Well, I don't know about sisters. Ugly cousin. But we are in no way sexually attracted to you. So I guess in that way, we can say it's a sister show. Really appreciate the help and support to bring these hardcore casual scenarios to the people. And I think that as they see them, they'll say, "Wow, there's some different ways of doing this." I get the fact that people want to see the SR stuff because that's the stuff they're going to be playing against in a vast majority of their competitive events. What we want to do is show them that there are other ways to still have fun with this game that you can be casual and have a good old time with. So really excited about that partnership. So super looking forward to seeing them.
It's gonna be a lot of fun.
And I'm painting bushwhackers for some reason. You know why I'm painting bushwhackers? I'm painting them because they were primed, and I really have no other reason.
They're really good, actually. They're really underrated.
Yeah, I actually had really good luck with them against a Gorshade 3 list that I was able with Calandra. I befuddled some Soul Hunters out of the way and almost won the game because they almost shot. They were like one die roll away from shooting. And if I had remembered the whole spend the fury thing on Calandra to re-roll, I totally would have won that game. Anyhow, flippity bloop.
All right, let's take a look here. The first one is from Brett Painter.
Hey, Brett.
He says, will the much-hyped Painting with MenothJohn precision measuring set ever be available?
I'm not holding my breath.
It's called a tape measure. Use it.
Yeah, I don't know what ever happened to that, to be honest. I'm tired of asking about it, so I've decided that, nope, it's probably
Let's
never
be honest.
Yeah?
We probably don't need it. That's not really where we're at anymore.
Honestly, it is a little against our mission, isn't it?
Yeah, you can do almost everything with a tape measure.
So, no, sorry. Thanks for wanting to support the show, Brett. And you already support the show as a patron, so thank you anyway. If you'd like me to make one out of cardboard for you or something, I could totally do that, though. It would be like this.
I would do it and make the measurements all off by a little bit.
Yeah, and I'll try to do it as much as for the personal advantage. It'd be like have 2-inch reach would actually be like 2.5 inches, and
I would screw them all up. So one would be too long, one would be too short, so he never knows.
Exactly.
Seems like,
Blast tokens would be good and bad. Yeah, a precision dice would probably. I would weight them, whatever.
Oh, that's awesome.
So there you go.
I think we see a tape measure that says Painting with MenothJohn on the side, and we'll advertise that as our precision measuring.
There you go. And it would be like all like it would go like from 1 to 4 inches or something, and it's like nope, that's in.
For metric only.
Yeah,
metric only.
Metric only. That's right. We only support metric system.
Metric is precision, man.
That's right.
Yeah. On the actual tape, instead of measurements, you could just say Painting with MenothJohn and no actual ticks.
It would actually say close enough.
Yeah.
Pretty close. Got it. Totally in. It would say things like that. Totally in.
Oh my. All right. So next is another interesting one from Daniel Riker. He says, what have you guys thought of the Battle Driven podcast?
Battle Driven is an amazing podcast by Mr. Dan Riker. I have listened to it, and I am highly supportive. He's a great guy. He came out of the Dark. He's part of the Dark Omen crew, and I am, along with Anthony Ferrialio, and Berger. There's not been a member of that particular gaming group that I have not enjoyed their company. So get out there and listen to his show. There, that's what I got to say.
Yeah, I can definitely thumbs up that one. That's a good podcast to listen to. I work for the government and get stuck in to think tanks and for 12 hours at a time, and podcasts are the only thing that allowed me to keep my sanity, and that's one of the ones that's on the roster.
Yeah,
Sheridan?
Unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to actually listen to a lot of podcasts these days.
Don't feel bad, neither have I.
Yeah.
My job requires a little more me paying attention to what I'm doing, since I'm doing double checks and important counts and stuff, so not so much podcasts.
Yeah, no, I've been doing I actually went back to college, so
Oh snap.
Boo.
a lot of classwork.
That's a sucker's play. College is for stupid people.
Well,
I
it
do
turns
like
out
their
that,
Facebook page, so.
Well, it turns out that if you have a lot of experience and all the required stuff that you should have as an adult, they still want a college degree for my job field. So.
Yep.
What job field is that?
I'm working on my degree in cybersecurity. So
cybersecurity.
yeah.
So you're not part of Anonymous then?
No.
Okay. We at Painting with MenothJohn totally support Anonymous because we don't want any of that shit coming down on our heads.
Yeah, definitely.
I can see the headlines tomorrow. Anonymous takes out Painting with MenothJohn.
Man, that
And no one noticed.
what a waste of time! Holy shit! Go take down ISIS or something meaningful, for God's sakes. You're doing a good job over there.
Yeah.
Keep up the God's work of taking down ISIS. By the way, you're seeing what an amazing painter I am. By the way, just so you, in case you're watching the video cast, I apply a blue wash, and that's pretty much my skin tone. And then I'll come back and apply a purple wash, which makes it slightly different than just having blue wash on it. And that is the key to the MenothJohn purple skin trolls washes. I can't paint
Hey, if
this.
it works.
I can't paint this good, I'll tell you what. Anyhow.
But you are painting that good.
Hey, wow. There you go. It's like Inception. All right, paint flippity bloop.
All right, I'm going to sneak one in from the chat room real quick here from Marshall. He wants to know, he needs a crowd call on what to paint and play next. I'm So Fancy, Makeda 3, or Fat Ass Frechette.
I'd go fancy. Play, if you're going to play Rochette, you can't play him in tier then. Because
He doesn't even like Frechette. I don't know why he's asking.
Yeah.
I mean, he's said it multiple times he's not a big fan. I would definitely also go for Makeda 3. Cindervale played her for a bit, and she's one of those casters I'm like, I think I'd like to play Scorn for that.
She's got a nice hat.
I think you should play Rochette and Makeda 3 in the Valentine's Day love machine scenario, because I think there's something going on between those two. Makeda 3 gives those little, coy eyes over to Big Tubby.
Are you saying she's a chubby chaser?
No.
Oh.
If he gets them both painted, he could. He is a local to me.
So you want to hear what
Marshall.
Rochette? You want to hear what Rochette says to Makeda 3 to get her turned on?
No, never.
I think you look just delicious. Just
Give me the
delicious.
gibblies. Oh my god.
I mean, there might be something going on with Makeda and Rochette, and she just has her exalted court standing there watching.
There's not enough flour.
That's what he likes.
There's
That's
not
what he
enough.
likes.
There's not enough flour in the entire empire of Scorn.
Oh my god. Oh my.
Keeping it
Needs
classy.
an audience, apparently. Yeah. Oh god.
See what happens when you
He's
bring
got all-
advanced maneuvers on this show. See what happens.
Well, he's got all his little baby elephants carrying him too. They got to stand around too.
Come here, baby. Come here and give me some sugar.
Who do you think somebody's got to push for the undulation. It's the little baby elephant.
Oh. Oh my god.
I love you long time.
They have the name Agonizer for a reason.
Best flippity bloop ever.
Oh my god.
Oh god. Now you know why they look even more sad.
Oh my god.
Take
I
that.
think we need to get past this quickly.
Take that, rest of the internet. We're a classy show.
Flippity bloop.
Flippity bloop. Flippity bloop. Somebody
Jason
press the
Belcher
goddamn
asks, what are
flippity bloop button.
Jason Belcher asks, "What are we hoping for from Reckoning?"
What book is that? Is that the new Warmachine book?
Correct.
I don't care. I'm not buying anything from that book. I'm hoping that it gets to the next Hordes book soon.
Oh, so something that'll work for trolls. Then you want a mercenary unit that'll work for trolls.
Exactly.
Okay.
No, in all seriousness, I'll go first, because why not? I would like another. I don't know. Dowdark, you go first. Fuck.
I would like to see and I'm going to mutilate the name because I am horrible with pronunciations, Sepulchre.
That's pretty good.
And not because of the actual sepulcher itself, but because I'm hoping that with the sepulcher is piggybacked plastic mechanothralls with brute thrall attachments in a box.
Don't say that, because that'll get me back into Crix again. That's really sad.
Fair enough.
Okay, I'm actually looking forward to the stealth denial judicator, whatever the hell that thing's called.
Oh, the Revelator?
Yeah, that thing. And then I'm looking forward to seeing what that ability of denial of stealth is, because I think it's going to be super fun to run a sepulcher and a not a sepulcher, but the Revelator and a judicator, and have all the aiders. I'm just going to call aiders gonna 8 is what I'm going to call the list.
And yeah, very good.
And it's gonna I'll shoot all the stealth, but I'm lying because I really don't play Warmachine anymore, because boosting beasts to 5 fury is like the best sex I've ever had.
Oh my. Well, I'm actually hoping for a mercenary caster that's not a Cephalix caster.
Fair enough.
I want something else to add to the majority of the Merc group. I mean, I know people want another Cephalix caster, but I want something that's not. I want something that plays for the standard 2, Highborn and 4-star. I want a new toy. I want a new toy for my Mercs. That's what I want.
You probably are okay with a Cephalix as long as you get something else along with it.
Yeah, or if you get like a cool character jack for generic mercenary or something like that, then maybe, or some cool unit that I can use. Besides the new pirates, they're cool, but I'd really like a caster, something new to play with there.
I think Cephalix should get a Mountain King Thrall so that they can have a Mat 5 Colossal.
Oh my god.
Oh, that would be fantastic. I mean, you just figure out, oh god, that'll be fantastic. Like, I'm going to cast Instigate, and then I'm going to punch you really hard.
Yeah. Sheridan, what are you hoping for?
I want to know what Denny 3 does. And
okay.
I want to know, I want confirmation that it's actually Denny 3 on the cover. Yeah, because it may push me back into playing Crix again, because yeah, I love playing Crix, but after playing it for a while, I always get a little frustrated, because I feel like I'm pushed to a couple of casters to be competitive, and I just want to play something new.
We fixed the whole competitive thing here at Painting with MenothJohn. We've given up on that crap. And
yeah, I really should too.
I wanted to point out to a something that may have tipped the scales towards the love machine too. We have some. If you look at here, we have some fan art here. I don't know if you guys are looking at this on the stream, but he sent some beautiful artwork to go along with the love machine scenario. As you can see here, it is Thagrosh and Haley in a forbidden love that can only happen during a love machine session. So she's in it for the big tusks. I know that.
Ribbed for her pleasure?
Right. As I look at it right here, you can see the ribs for her pleasure, and look at the look on her face. That's a very satisfied warcaster there, boy. They met while she was dancing on a pole, by the way. Anyway.
Well, I mean that is what she does. So.
All right, so I've put the initial wash. This is the painting part of the show here. This is painting with MenothJohn, right? So
yeah.
I put some washes on these guys, and now I'm going to move on to the next stage. I'm going to put some leather on them or something, because we just got done talking about a pole dancer. Why not put some leather on some trolls? All right, so
seems appropriate.
Seems totally appropriate. I do want to mention one good thing here is when I was at Adepticon, and they're not a sponsor of the show. This is from Games and Gears. This is the WGC Hydra. It is a brush that I got from those guys. It's their Detail Brush Zero. This is a very impressive brush. I'm really, really happy with this brush. I don't know yet if I'm willing to say it's my new replacement for my Winsor Newton Series 7 number 1 brush, but it's really doing a great job of holding up. It's not hooking on the tip at all. It's really standing up. It's keeping a nice, sharp point, which is super important, and really happy with it. So I'm going to paint these trolls with that brush, and you guys can kind of see how things turn out. Anyhow, flippity-bloop.
All right. Next one is from Joseph Lachuga. He says, they say that Vinter is coming. What's his destination? And what will he be doing when he gets there?
You want to go first, Kevin?
His destination is the Retribution Wall. And when he gets there, dance party? I don't know.
All right. Maybe he's been ordained as his own priest of his own religion, and he can, marry Makeda 3 and Rasheth when he gets there.
Can't leave a sleeping dog lie, can you?
Hell no.
Well, he can show up and help the agonizers with the pushing. That seems good, right?
I want to thank you for being here.
Oh. All right, but more seriously, John, what do you think?
I forgot the question. Let's see here. So, because I got the image of Makeda 3 and frickin' Rasheth in my head again, and I can't think anymore. What was the question?
Vinter is coming. Where is he going? What's he doing?
So there's two theories I've got. One is that they're going to revive the Vinter from the... I can't paint these guys with leather right now because the damn washes are still wet. Anyway, they're going to either... Once upon a time, before there was this thing called Lock and Load, there was something called the Privateer Press Press Ganger Invitational. And the one time that I went to the Press Ganger Invitational while I was still a Press Ganger, they had alternative history cards. And Vinter was a playable character for one brief shiny moment. And his card had no focus, but it was a playable character. That's one way they could go. That is a warcaster who has ability to run jacks, which he did, but did not have focus. So that's one way they could go. Or it could be, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting trolled, that this is simply a IKRPG kind of a thing, and it's going to be released as a part of that. It seems a little grandiose, to be honest, for them to be pulling off something like that. But so my gut tells me they're going to lean towards a new way of handling jacks, and Vinter is going to be that guy, and it's going to be a resurrection of that old card. And if you give me 10 seconds here, guys, while you guys vamp a little bit, I'll go get that card.
Okay.
Nice sweatshirt, by the
Sharon,
way.
what do you think?
Nice shirt, by the way, there, John.
Thanks.
I really am kind of interested to see if they're going to resurrect his actual storyline. We've seen him a couple of times in the fluff a little bit, defeating Makeda, going to the score and whatnot. And then I want to see if they're going to bring him back and do something that actually shifts the story more towards he's going to regain his throne in Caspia, I think, or whatever the city in Signar is.
Yeah, well, that actually fits with the taunt that a major character will die in the next book. So it could be Leto, or it could be Vinter. Who knows? That would be the ultimate troll. Vinter's coming. Oh, look, he's dead.
Yep.
Okay, so Vinter the Undefeated. I'm going to put this back on the painting cam. I'm going to turn this lamp off and let everything kind of readjust. And I don't know that I can get the focus in. I'm going to try and bring the zoom in here a little bit and try to figure this out. So please stand by, as the technology will, of course, elude us, and then we'll have problems. Okay, we're going to keep on zooming in And we'll pan it down a little bit. Okay, that's the best I can do, folks, honestly. Try to put the autofocus on it and see if that helps. Yeah, that's kind of crappy, but we'll do the best we can. So, Vinter the Undefeated was a Signar solo. Speed 6, Strength 8, Mat 9. That's right, folks, Mat 9. Rat 5, 15-18 with a 10 command. He had he had one weapon. He had a magical POW 16 Weapon Master Reach sword. So pretty much they just stuck he was tough, a fearless, and a commander. They stuck everything they had on the card. He has 5, 10, 15, 20 boxes. This guy's broke as crap. So
that's 19 boxes, actually.
19? Thank you. Wow, you can see it that good, huh? All right, so he had Ancient Mail of the Grim King. This model automatically heals D3 plus 3 damage points at the start of each of its activations. It had Aura of the Empowerment. When a friendly faction Warjack begins its activation in this model's command range, that Warjack is allocated 1 focus point. So he does not have a focus stat. He just does that. He has Desperate Pace, Signar. Now remember, these were alternate timelines, so the Lion's Coup never happens, and this is what you get. So range is command, target friendly, Signar unit. If the Signar unit is in range, it gets +2 movement during its activation this turn. This was back in the day. This is the very early days of Mark II also. So these are all Mark II cards, which is kind of sweet. Inspiration. So Signar model units are fearless. Power of the Grim King. At the beginning of each of your control phases, if this model has fewer than 3 power tokens, it gains a power token until it has 3. During its activation, this model can spend power tokens to gain additional attacks or boost attack or damage rolls at 1 token per attack or boost. Sack Pawn Signar. So it can sack pawn to anything Signar. Warcaster Equivalent. So it has the ability. Then it has this model takes the place of 1 Warcaster in an army. An army, including this model, gains 5 bonus army points that can be spent on Warjacks under control of the battle group. In other words, gives him +5 Jack points. And then Kingslayer, which is his sword, but which, by the way, is not a reference to Game of Thrones, I'm sure. Backswing as a star attack, and then Thresher as a star attack. So, and he had a feat too. Wrath of Railthorn. Vinter gains Duelist. Each time Vinter makes an additional attack, he can make a star attack instead. After resolving a star attack made by Vinter, he can immediately advance 2 inches. Holy crap. So he can move 2 inches, Thresher, move 2 inches, Thresher, move 2 inches, Thresher. It's like basically what the hell? Crusher on crack.
I was going to say, it sounds like we just found Madrak 3's feet.
Man, I'll tell you what, if this is Madrak 3's feet, I'm a happy man. Wrath of the Railthorn lasts 1 round. Models with duelists get +2 defense against melee attack rolls. So that was what Vinter the Undefeated was back in the day. That is a possibility.
That would be sweet.
Yep. It just won't be that wall of text on the back side of the card.
It just reminds me of the. I think he had one. It was like Vinter in Mark I when they used to put out the weird scenarios in No Quarter, where he had pretty much all of that, and he also had like Ancient Shroud.
Yeah.
Where it's like where he could only take 1 damage point from any attack. Like, oh. Yeah, that's all.
Pretty sure 19 health boxes prevents that from being an option.
Yeah, true enough. Yeah. All right. So Here's one from Legionnaires in the chat room. He wants to know, since it's on his sort of mind right now, have you, MenothJohn, when you were a press ganger, used any of your PG points for prize support?
Actually, yes, I did. Back in the day, I would take my PG points and I would end up buying stuff, and a lot of the times I would have John Cons coming up. See, I was kind of a weird press ganger. I didn't run actually that many events in the game store because back then they were maybe a little bit more free with who was going to be a press ganger and who wasn't. So we had 2 or 3 press gangers in Logan Valley all by ourselves. So I would have events at my house, and I would use my press ganger points to buy prize support for those. So yeah, I've used that, and I think that's a really good use for press gang points, especially if the store doesn't necessarily support your events terribly well. It's a good way to get some extra special, or maybe you want to run an event that has that you want something really super extra special for, like a Sacral Vault or something like that costs a lot of money or a lot of points. It's a good way to do it.
I've seen some PGs who spend their press ganger points for the smoking boot, the last place. So that way the person who ends up getting last place ends up leaving with, a blister or something like that of their choosing.
Yep, that's cool.
Yeah, we usually give out a gift card for that, or if it seems like someone's trying for it, I'll put it on the table and go, okay, you two are fighting for this. Whoever wins gets this one.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So the 2 last place people are fighting for it, depending on, how the tournament feels.
Yeah.
Cool. Good question.
All right. Well, we've got 2 more people's flippity bloops. One of those is Mike Bond, so you put in like 3.
Nice.
So Cliff Hughes wants to know: a year in space or a year on the cruise ship?
Oh, you're in space. There's so many different things I want to do in zero gravity that I have no chance of doing. I mean, yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't want to be in a frickin' Mercury capsule, all right. But there's all kinds of naughtiness you can get into in zero gravity, and I want to experience all of them. What do you think, Kevin?
I'm gonna go with a year in space because I can't imagine what kind of viral contagion you would get here on a cruise.
Well taken. Well played. What about you, Sheridan?
Yeah, I'd have to go with space. Mainly because I hate water. I do not do well in water at all.
Do you do better in hard vacuum?
Well, I don't know for sure, but I'd really like to find out.
Okay, excellent.
That's fair. That's fair.
John?
I will dissent, and I'll go with the cruise ship. I happen to love water. I think it'd be a good time to see a lot of the world I haven't seen. Let's start down here, then make my way up there.
Excellent. I think that's...
Plus, I can bring my wife there, and it seems like much more interesting.
Well, absolutely.
And I imagine the food is better.
Yes. Astronaut ice cream versus real ice cream, no question. No question.
Ice cream.
How can you go wrong with food that requires your own saliva to make it taste?
I wonder how you go wrong. So, I watch a YouTube channel of a guy in Britain named Ashens who does a lot of taste testing things, and he recently did an episode on astronaut food. If you want to check it out, it was actually pretty interesting to hear him and his buddy comment on all the things they tried.
Excellent. One of the interesting phenomena of getting older is that I've got to go pee right now. So y'all can continue on, and this is a high production values podcast. So I'm going to cut a whiz while you guys continue the show. Remember, support Patreon, patreon.com/MenothJohn. I'll be back when my bladder says it's okay to return. Enjoy the show, Brushheads.
All right. Well, this is a new one. Normally it's me, and you guys barely know when I go to the bathroom. But we're going to go to the last flippity bloops from Mike Bond. We'll do them while John's out of the room. The first one of his is, since Boomhowler is supposed to be the kind of rocker of the Warmachine Hordes universe, which 70s to 80s band would you be the lead singer of? Sheridan, we'll start with you this time.
Oh, crap. I have no idea how to answer that question. Yeah, come back to me. I'm going to have to think about that one.
All right, Kevin, you got anything?
Like the first one that popped into my head was White Snake, just because of the pointy spike, mohawk style.
Okay.
Because it's like for trolls having pointy spikes going straight up is their equivalent of big hairband.
Exactly, I like that.
So I'm gonna have to go with White Snake.
All right. Well, I actually put a little bit of thought of this as I had, a whole extra 15 minutes when I got home to look at these. I would actually go with Def Leppard, because boy, if they were all troll bloods, their drummer would be in a lot better shape.
Yeah, that's true. After a couple months, he could grow back his arm.
Yep. I also feel like the kind of now I love Def Leppard. The kind of incoherent songs they put out in the 80s would be perfect for troll bloods. They don't need to make sense. They're just singing it loud, and people are loving it. Jared, did you get an answer yet? Oh, good.
Would a Meatloaf Boom Howler be a good?
Oh my God, that would be so good. Meatloaf Boom Howler is perfect.
I feel like I missed the best question in Painting with MenothJohn history.
I don't know. I'm not even sure if it's actually in the right time frame, but Quiet Riot, maybe?
Oh, that's an 80s band. That's perfect.
Yeah.
So I really desperately want to answer this question. What was the question, John?
The question is, since Boom Howler is supposed to be sort of the Warmachine of Hordes equivalent of a rocker, what 70 or 80s band was he the lead singer of?
Oh my God, White Snake.
Yeah.
No. I feel like some White Snake.
Oh my God.
Here we go again, and we're dead.
Oh, totally different reason, but that's hilarious.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
So,
okay.
there you go. Moving right along.
All right.
Flippity bloop.
Well, the last one is sort of like a double. Do you think Mennonites have an equivalent to Easter? If so, do they have an Easter egg hunt equivalent? Something like Easter heretic hunts where all the kids go out and try to find a heretic to burn?
Let me see now. All the best children's holidays are based on home invasion. So I'm thinking that if the Protectorate of Menoth was going to have a home invasion holiday, I guess it would have to be that I don't know, the Easter. I guess Menoth would probably show up at your house and leave little racked animals in your house hidden or something like that. I'm kind of blanking on this one, but it was worth at least getting out there that all the best children's myths are based on home invasion. Someone save me from this one.
The only thing I can think of is they bar the people from leaving, burn the house down, and then roam through the remains looking for skulls.
Oh my God, that's perfect.
Well,
that wins.
Sounds good.
That one wins.
I just have this image in my head of all of the mothers and our parents are standing around with their kids, handing the little children the zealots fire bombs, going, "Make sure you hit the house, honey."
Oh my God. All right, and his follow-up to that was, what is their Easter Bunny equivalent? Oh.
That would be Flamebringer A.
I've actually found the Mennonite Easter Bunny, and here he is. He's Wally the Korea. And Wally, what do you have to say about Mennonite Easter? I think it's absolute bullshit. Let me tell you about Mennonite Easter. I'm sure they can't see my lips moving, so I'll move over here. Mennonite Easter is bullshit. But with all of the burning and the eggs and the skulls, it's crap. I much prefer Scorn Easter, where everybody puts fish hooks in their eyes and sews their mouths shut, and then they have to recite all of the best things about Scorn. So, buy from Discount Games Incorporated.
Apparently, Puppet Time, Warmachine and Hordes Puppet Time needs to happen. He's in the zone. In the zone.
Oh, Jesus. Jesus.
Oh.
So let's talk about movies.
If it wouldn't get the wrong... Yeah. Honestly, if it wasn't for the fact that it would get flagged to the wrong people on YouTube, I think that's the good name for the show. Jesus.
Episode 53. Jesus. Jesus, what the fuck was that?
I don't even know anymore. I'm not even sure what's going on.
Oh my god, this mic stand is driving me to drink. Oh wait.
I came from hearing chips.
It's all your fault, Kevin.
You got your money's worth, sir.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know what you're talking about. All right, so how about them movies? We need to come up with a movie club thing there, John.
Yeah, well, I was looking for one, but unless you happen to own a copy of Death Race 2000, I can't suggest that.
Oh, I'd totally be down with that. I'll go ahead and rent it. Which one? The David Carradine?
Oh, yeah, absolutely the David Carradine.
Oh, yeah, I'll watch that again.
Because I found my copy. It was in the most unassuming place in a binder made for CDs and DVDs.
Oh, shut up.
Oh, no. Last time we were missing a CD, it was in the exact same place, as funny as that is.
Yeah, I'd be totally down with Death Race 2000, especially since I'm backing the Car Wars Kickstarter that's on right now.
Oh, awesome. So there you go. Brushheads, find yourself a copy of Death Race 2000 and watch the glory that is Sylvester Stallone's first acting appearance, or close enough.
Yep. You not only get Sylvester Stallone, you also get David Carradine in a not kung fu kind of way.
Absolutely.
Not to derail Death Race 2000, but I played that Skid Marks game that's on Kickstarter. That game's amazing.
Yeah. We're going to have Jan on at some point to talk about it, the squid.
I think Jan's done a good job with that development, and I look forward to its Kickstarter being on, because we'll have him on as a guest. Shut up! I can't get that goddamn Korea off of this channel. What's up with that?
I feel like next level I'm going to have to bring like something like that to put in front of the camera, too. Oh, my God. All right, so movies. Back to movies.
I'm going to do the rest of the show as a Korea.
Oh, God.
Romper, stomper, bumper, boo! There we go.
How much have you had to drink today, John?
Not that much. It's just kind of funny.
That's... Yeah, exactly. All right, so movies. I unfortunately did not see the third Mummy movie like I promised. Time just got really tight this week. I had to work a bunch of extra hours to make up for Friday being off. And while I was off Friday, I went with Marshall and his family, and we saw Furious 7.
That's the movie that was made by the dead guy, right?
Oh, too soon. Yes.
He made poor life choices. Now there's a movie.
Wow. Are you sure you're not drunk?
Pretty sure.
Okay.
Don't drive into trees. They're solid.
He wasn't driving.
Whatever.
Exactly. All right, so I saw Furious 7, and it was pretty much everything you expect from that movie series. If you've seen the last couple entries to this movie series, it was pretty much that. Great action. They do have a good send-off to Paul Walker. Very classy, very good. The action's just amazing. I like to describe it as it starts and it puts the action up a bit, and it's like, is that too much? No? How about this far? Is that too much? No? How about this far? And just at that point, you're going, I think that may be too much. They stop. And you're like, I think I could go with this, but boy, you're really pushing it.
So basically, they looked at Sharknado and went, we don't want to be there.
Oh, no, yeah, they didn't quite get to Sharknado. They still kept it in. It was It was pretty great. At points, Vin Diesel was channeling his inner 80s action movie star, and he had some great and some horrible one-liners, but it's what you expect, honestly.
Did he get to the chopper?
No, not well. Maybe spoilers. There's a chopper in there. I don't want to totally spoil anything, so maybe.
I was gonna say that doesn't seem like a movie that you would actually go to see for the dialogue and or character development.
No, but still, at a point, there's one line you're gonna be like, "You said that? Really? You going with that? You chose that one? Maybe you should have rethought that line, not anything else." But it's super cool. Jason Statham in it is awesome. He has two big fight scenes, obviously, one with The Rock, one with Vin Diesel, and both are really awesome.
He's pretty legitimate. I liked him in the whatever the hell that thing was with all those old guys. Expendables. Yeah, that's it.
That's the one. Okay. That's really creepy, John. I want you to know that. Really
I'm just going to do this for the rest of the show. Is that a problem?
Maybe, but...
Okay, in that case, I'll take it down. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, coming to the I forget what I called him, the Korea guy. He's going to be on lots more.
Awesome. All right, so it was super fun. Exactly what you expect from that kind of movie. It does go a little crazy at a couple points, and there were a couple points I was not 100% on board for, so I am going to give it one shot of Kraken. But since it's only out in theaters, drink that shot of Kraken long before you leave and let someone else drive, or after you get home. Don't drink it while you're in theater. That will be bad news.
Yep, we are all about
You don't have your significant other sneaking in a bottle of Kraken in there first?
No. My significant other was not there. She was at home. She actually has not seen any of the Fast and the Furious movies and is not currently interested in them. What are you going to do?
Well, that is clearly her decision. We support her decision.
But super good. Go see it. If you like this kind of movie at all, go see it.
Excellent. Well, on one end of the spectrum, we have Furious 7. And then we have what my movie is going to be about tonight, which is The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. So we have Vin Diesel, and we have The Rock, and all this kind of stuff, and we have cars blowing up, and helicopters, and all this kind of stuff. And then we have Jesus Lion, and the and all of the Minotaurs, and the Centaurs, and the Jaguars, and the Cheetahs, and all that kind of stuff.
Was that lion played by Liam Neeson's?
As a matter of fact, it was by Liam Neeson's. Anyway, so The Lion, the Witch, and Wardrobe was by a little-known and only slightly referenced author by the name of C.S. Lewis, who had a friend that wrote a book that nobody's heard of called The Lord of the Rings. And basically, in the Chronicles of Narnia, basically we have a fantasy world filled with talking animals and all kinds of stuff, and they're legit. And they have a war, and there's this ice queen, and she's mean, and she does mean, nasty things. And one of the human kids is an asshole, and basically would sell out his brother and sister for a piece of Turkish delight. What in the hell is Turkish delight?
I looked it up once. I don't really care. It's some sort of sweet that apparently they like in England. And honestly, during World War II, England would probably have been very awesome.
Well, yeah. I mean, compared to deep-fried cod and smushy peas, a little piece of something sweet has got to be goddamn off the charts good. So, so he sold out his family for some sweets, and then 6 more books or something happened. But this was a lovely story about killing wild animals and then breathing them back to life because you're a lion, and that's what they can do apparently if you're Jesus Lion. So there you go, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. It's the first of, I think they've made 3, and they're getting ready to make the 4th book in the series. And what's really interesting is that they haven't split up each book into 3 movies. So Peter Jackson. Note to Peter Jackson, it's possible. You can make a book into a movie in just one movie. It's possible. So,
are you sure? Because that doesn't sound right.
Pretty sure there was a beginning, middle, and end to this one, and it didn't take 3 movies to do it. They used computer graphics and all kinds of that fancy stuff too.
Mind completely blown.
Exactly. So I'm looking forward to actually watching the rest of them. And I was watching the show with Belinda Librarian and my 2 boys, and I kept on, every time I'm looking at something, I was making Game of Thrones references. And I don't know why I was doing that, because the 2 movies could not possibly be more different. Yes, there were swords involved, but that's pretty much where it began and ended. As I kept on going every time that because it was cold in Narnia in this one, because the Ice Queen was around. So I was like, meanwhile at the North Wall, or I was like, wait, there's gonna be a White Walker coming out any second now. I know it. It's gonna come and get Mr. Tomlin or whatever his name was. So
Mr.
Tumnus, whatever. The goat guy. Anyway, so I would give that one I'll give it a 1 shot at crack, and it was really nice. I really enjoyed it.
It was very good. I saw it back in the theater. I owned it on DVD. It's quite an enjoyable movie. It was very epic at the end. The end fight was very epic, and sort of put even most of the ones for Lord of the Rings at the time to shame, with the CG being so smooth, especially with the sort of, it's much brighter than Lord of the Rings battles are. So
yeah, and
it was sweet,
and it's very approachable too. Gentlemen, have you guys seen it? Sheridan, Kevin?
I saw it when it first came out in the theaters, and I really actually enjoyed it. I was kind of hoping that they would put out the rest of the series in theaters, but so far I haven't seen them.
They did Voyage of the Dawn Treader, but that's it. That's nothing else.
Did they really? When did they do that?
Yeah. A couple years ago.
Prince Caspian was a direct-to-video, I believe, and I believe they're working on the Silver Chair right now.
Maybe it was Prince Caspian I was thinking of that came out.
Oh, you're right. Prince Caspian did. Voyage of the Dawn Treader came out on it is available, at least on Amazon Prime. It is.
Huh. I'll have to check a look then.
Here.
It's not free on Amazon Prime, but it's like $3.
Yeah.
Now, we're here at Painting with MenothJohn. We highly recommend people review movies that are at least 3 to 5 years old. So Kevin, tell us a little bit about Blue Chicks in Space, otherwise known as Avatar, because I don't think anybody's seen that. It basically it didn't really do that well in the theater.
Yeah, I tell you what, if you haven't seen this movie, you need to go out and see it. And by go out, I mean go to Netflix and you'll find it there. I have seen this movie several times. It's one of those that kind of keep falling back on, just because I actually like the quality of it. There is a lot of blue people involved, but there is no blue dongs involved, so I consider that a plus. But it's one of those movies that I think was, I hate to sound cliche-ish, but it was ahead of its time. Not too often does Hollywood come out with a original concept idea as of late, and by as of late, I mean within the past 10 or so years. And I think the movie's great. It's definitely starting to show its age, but you kind of expect that to happen. It's one of those situations where I think most people who've seen it fall in one of two camps. They either like it and they're willing to watch it multiple times, or they hate it and they never want to see it again.
Fair enough.
Yeah, you can say that about my first marriage. So I guess the part that I've struggled with, as I watched it recently, actually, believe it or not, because I have it on Blu-ray, and it's visually one of the most striking movies I think I've ever seen. The one part that I do struggle with a little bit is the the caricature, because I can't call them characters, of the military people were just a little bit too big. They were just a little bit too crazy, insane, whatever, because they were. I mean, the one guy who's ostensibly sort of the lead, the head military guy on Pandora was that the name of the planet?
Yep.
So they stole that from Borderlands, or one of the two, he was just so single-minded in his need to kill that it was a little bit too big as far as the caricature is concerned. But I thought that the Na'vi were very well developed as a people, and I thought that the overall story for a brand new franchise, and you're right, Kevin. New franchises are few and far between these days.
It's interesting that you bring up the point about his overzealousness to kill and such. I actually used to think that was one of the more interesting kind of side elements that you don't necessarily pick up when you see it the first time around, because it brings to mind that the reflection of, okay, you've got these group of humans who have been taken away from Earth. They're not on Earth anymore. They're kind of on a different planet. They're isolated away from humankind. So when pulled away from civilization, do we fall into this realm of primal instinct and default to our base education or base knowledge? And as a military person, fighting is his base knowledge.
That's kind of deep. I really didn't give it that thought. I saw it for the first time
that's spot
not
on.
that long ago.
I've seen humans. I think that's spot on.
Anyway, it's an interesting thought. I watched it the first time, didn't really think about it. Then I watched it, 2-3 more times, and noticed that, I didn't like the betrayal of the military in that movie. After watching it a couple more times, so
it's kind of heavy-handed, and I think that James Cameron may not be the biggest fan of the military.
Oh no!
Because between that and The Abyss, he really doesn't necessarily treat the military guys very well. Honestly, even Terminator, when you get it down to it, he thinks they're incompetent enough to make a machine that would launch all the missiles and wipe it all out all humanity. So he may not be the biggest fan of the military.
Yeah.
So what do you think, guys? Given our Kraken scale here on the Painting with MenothJohn show, how many shots of Kraken are you going to give Blue Chicks in Space?
I honestly feel like one shot of Kraken is more than enough. But as I said, people usually fall in one of two camps. They're going to do the one shot of Kraken, or they're going to be like, no way, you need to give me like 4 shots of Kraken for me to watch this again.
Yeah, that's good. We need to keep it at least one full shot of Kraken away from Turkish Star Wars. So excellent, good job.
I would have said I didn't need any shots when I first saw it, and now I'd need at least 2 or 3 to just control rage.
Wow. Okay, that's cool.
Fair enough.
Excellent. And John, what's your opinion?
I like the movie. Like I said, I reviewed it not that long ago. I mean, within the last year, because I just borrowed it from Eagles fan, one of our Brushheads. I think I gave it one shot of Kraken also. It was pretty good. I mean, it was overhyped like a mug, but definitely was not disappointed.
Cool. One last little media thing that we're going to talk about here tonight. Book recommendation here from the Painting with MenothJohn show. If you are or ever have loved any of the 90s and 80s videos games, highly recommend the Ready Player One book that is out there. It is I've started reading it. I'm about 4 chapters in. Quick plot synopsis. Earth has gone completely to crap. Which never happens in fiction.
Never.
Basically, we've used up a great majority of our resources, and economies have collapsed. But thankfully, virtual reality has progressed to the point where this thing called Oasis, which is sort of what the internet has become, is fully immersive, and we can all escape from the dreadfulness of our daily lives to this thing called Oasis. And the inventor of Oasis has kept it free and kept it awesome and free open source kind of a thing. When he died, he was worth billions of dollars. Well, he had no heirs. So he writes into his will that he has put an Easter egg into Oasis, this immersive virtual reality, much in the same way that in the old Atari game Adventure, that if you found this one secret room, you would be able to reveal the secret, the name of the programmer of Adventure. Well, he did the same thing in Oasis, and if you find the Easter egg, you get his entire fortune and all the rights to Oasis. So it's essentially all the money in the universe. And that is the basis of the movie, and how that particular style of setting up one's will has affected society and the development of society around subcultures of people who just spend their entire life looking for this Easter egg. And it's 10 years past this guy's death, and no one has found even the first of 3 keys to find the Easter egg. And as the book opens up, your protagonist has just found the first key. So it's painting a very interesting world full of tons of cultural references to the 90s and 80s. And as an old guy, I am eating up every word of it. And I highly recommend this book. It was included as a part of a recent Loot Crate. And they included the whole book.
Yeah, I saw one of the guys open that Loot Crate on YouTube, the same guy I mentioned earlier, and saw that was in there.
Yep. This is also, what I'm wearing tonight is also part of the latest Loot Crate. As you can see, this is stirred. 007's a little bit upset about the fact that his martini came stirred and not shaken. So I like this shirt very much. So anyway, I highly recommend Ready Player One. I'm going to finish it on my trip to Carson, Nevada. I'm pretty sure it's pretty amazing. So that's all I got. Anything else anybody else wants to recommend or provide for the media section?
Well, I just bought Star Wars Armada, and I will be giving it a review sort of dealio when I finally get to play a game of it. I'm going to try for this Tuesday, but we'll see how not Brushhead Dave goes with that, because he bought it also.
People are absolutely raving about that game. At my local game store, they are going nuts about that game. There are people playing it all over the place.
Yeah, I've heard good things. I've heard it's sort of like some of the things that they wish they'd done differently in X-Wing, they did it that way in this. So we'll see how that goes.
Cool.
Yeah, that's actually something I've been looking at as well, just to see how, or at least in the Advanced Maneuvers group, we've been talking about, needing our sci-fi itch scratched, and Armada seems like an interesting way to actually do that. But I haven't actually had time to look too far into it. So.
Cool. Well, I very much look forward to it, John. I look forward to seeing what you have to say about that game. It's $100. It's a pretty significant investment. But on behalf, I guess, we've kind of reached the end of our hour and a half or more trip down, puppets and face masks and flippity bloops and spokesmodels. And yeah, exactly. I want to thank you very much, Kevin Dowdark from the Advanced Maneuvers podcast over there on the YouTubes. Check them out, Advanced Maneuvers. They're doing the best production values, I think, on the internet right now when it comes to the post-production of a bat rep. I want to thank Sheridan Solis on that channel. He does things there. And he's not near as important as Dowdark, but we have him on the show sometimes. And on behalf of Mr. John Spencer and myself, MenothJohn, have a wonderful week. Stay positive and keep playing that hardcore casual. Good night.
See you guys.